Toothbrushing tips. Mistakes many parents never realize they were making. If you're watching this video, maybe you already have a young child, or you're getting ready to welcome a new baby, or maybe you just came across this and were curious enough to stay. Whatever the reason, I think by the time this video ends, you might find yourself looking back at a few things you once thought were completely normal. Because sometimes, the biggest mistakes don't come from being irresponsible. They come from the smallest things we brushed off, thinking it's probably fine.
Before we begin, baby teeth are a child's very first set of teeth, before they're gradually replaced by permanent teeth later on. When most people think about baby teeth, the first thought is usually, they're only temporary. They'll fall out on their own eventually. Or baby teeth are just there to hold the space until the permanent ones grow in. But in reality, baby teeth play a far more important role than most people realize. And it's often this misunderstanding that allows so many dental problems in children to go unnoticed until it's too late. Actually, the journey of baby teeth begins much earlier than most people think. Even while a baby is still growing inside the womb, the foundations of baby teeth are already quietly forming inside the jawbone. Then, after birth, around 6 months old, the first teeth begin to appear. Usually the front teeth come first. Then slowly, one by one, the others follow. By around 2 to 3 years old, most children will have a full set of 20 baby teeth. And then, as children grow older, those baby teeth will begin to loosen and make way for permanent teeth. Typically, this process begins around age 6 and continues until around 10 to 12 years old. Which means, baby teeth don't just stick around for a few months. They stay with a child through some of the most important years of their entire childhood.
Mistake 1. Starting oral care too late. Many parents hold on to one very common belief. We'll start cleaning their teeth once they have more of them. Because when a baby only has 1 or 2 teeth, it's easy to think there's no rush. But in reality, this is one of the most common reasons young children develop cavities so early. I've seen children as young as 2 or 3 years old whose front teeth were already visibly darkened, showing signs of enamel damage or already deeply decayed. And when I asked the parents what happened, the answer was almost always the same. We thought it was because their enamel was weak. But in most cases, it wasn't weak enamel. It was simply that their teeth weren't being cleaned properly from early on. At this stage, enamel is still developing and much more vulnerable than it will be later. At the same time, this is exactly when children are feeding most frequently. Breast milk, formula, night feeds, falling asleep while drinking. When milk residue sits on the teeth for long periods, especially overnight when saliva production drops, bacteria have the perfect environment to grow. And once solid foods are introduced, porridge, soft rice, purees, young children haven't yet developed the chewing ability to clear food from their mouth easily. Food tends to sit around the teeth much longer. And without regular cleaning, plaque and bacteria slowly build up on the tooth surface. So when should you start? From the very first tooth. A soft gauze pad or a finger toothbrush is all it takes, gently wiping after each feed or meal, especially before bed at night. Simple, right? But keep watching, because what seems like such a small habit carries a much bigger surprise than most people expect. Mistake 2. The habit that never formed early enough. Around 2 to 5 years old, children begin to develop stronger awareness, react more strongly to things they dislike, and become much less easy to cooperate with than before. This is also the stage when many parents start trying to teach brushing habits more seriously, introducing a toothbrush, guiding their child through the routine, making it a daily thing. But at this point, many children push back. They squirm, they turn away, they simply refuse to open their mouths. For some families, every single brushing session feels like a battle, and eventually, brushing becomes something rushed, half done, or skipped altogether. This is actually something that could have been avoided entirely if from the very first tooth, parents had gently cleaned their child's mouth every day. The child would have grown up feeling that oral care is just a completely normal part of life. As they got older, the toothbrush would already feel familiar, and guiding them through brushing would feel far less like a struggle. Mistake 3. Using the dentist as a threat. Many parents have said things like, "Eat faster or your teeth will rot. If you don't brush, the dentist will pull your teeth out. If you're naughty, I'll take you to the dentist right now." And honestly, most of the time there's no bad intention behind it. Just wanting the child to listen a little more, wanting them to eat a little more. But those words, repeated day after day, quietly plant a fear in a child's mind that parents often don't even notice forming. Especially between ages 2 and 5, children don't yet understand what a dentist actually does, that a dental visit is meant to help them, or what treatment even involves. But what they do remember is the dentist is painful. The dentist pulls teeth out. Going to the dentist is something scary. And even before they've ever sat in a dental chair, many children have already built up a fear, entirely from words they heard at home. By the time a real dental problem appears and a visit can no longer be avoided, some children cry the moment they hear the words dentist appointment. And once they actually arrive at the clinic, some refuse to go inside or break down completely and can't cooperate at all. And sometimes, what frightens a child most at the dentist isn't the actual pain. It's the fear that was quietly built long before they ever walked through that door. Mistake 4. Delaying treatment. This is the mistake I understand the most, not because parents don't care, but because by this point, parents are simply exhausted. After so many attempts, comforting, convincing, driving to appointments, only to watch their child cry, panic, and shut down completely, many parents reach a point where they feel overwhelmed, worn out, and start to dread the idea of another dental visit. Some days, parents arrive at the clinic early, full of hope, but just getting the child to sit in the chair, open their mouth, stay still for a few minutes can take far longer than the appointment itself. And it's not just parents who feel it. Sometimes the dentist feels it too, and gently has to say, "Today wasn't a good day for them. Let's let them rest and come back. We'll work on building their comfort before the next visit." Then the family goes home. The child calms down. The pain seems to fade. And when the next appointment comes around, it's easy to think, maybe we can wait a little longer. And so it goes. One delay after another. The treatment keeps getting pushed back. But the tooth doesn't wait. A small cavity becomes a large one. A large cavity reaches the nerve. And by the time the pain becomes unbearable, the options left are far fewer than they would have been. Mistake 5. They're just baby teeth anyway. And this is where everything quietly reaches its end. After all of it, the crying, the fear, the failed appointments, the delays, when the tooth has finally deteriorated beyond what can reasonably be treated, many parents slowly arrive at a thought. Maybe it's just easier to have it pulled. Permanent teeth are coming eventually anyway. And honestly, this thought rarely appears from the beginning. It's not because parents don't love their child. It's because everyone has reached their limit, and the tooth has reached a point of no return. But what many parents don't realize is, when a baby tooth is lost earlier than it naturally should be, it can have a significant impact on how the permanent teeth grow in later. And those effects, they don't stop at just one tooth. They can quietly follow a child's development for years to come.
How it all connects, like a row of dominoes. We've just gone through 5 mistakes that many parents make without ever realizing it. And honestly, none of this is about blame, because every parent wants the very best for their child. The real issue is that so many of these things start forming very early, in ways that parents simply don't see at the time. From starting oral care too late, to a habit that never had the chance to form, to words said without thinking, to putting off one more appointment, to eventually accepting that they're just baby teeth. Everything connects, like a row of dominoes. The moment the first one falls, every single one behind it, no matter how carefully arranged, begins to fall too. It all starts from one familiar thought, one small everyday habit, one moment of thinking, it's probably fine. But over time, everything quietly links together into a chain of effects that most parents never see coming true. So, after watching this video, do you feel like you may have unknowingly made one of these mistakes yourself? Is there anything you're currently struggling with when it comes to your child's baby teeth? Something you'd like to understand better or talk through? Feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you're going through. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos on children's dental health. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.